You can call me stupid, yes, you can call me sheep. You can say I'm lazy, you can say I'm weak.
What's going on, players? How's everybody doing? Good morning. Guys, want to talk to you about an interesting thing, that happened yesterday. When you're trading and you're trading earnings plays, there's so many different angles to it, right? First, you have like, which ones do you choose? Then you have, okay, I have the right ones, but now like, what type of angles do I look like? And I have a couple of my students over here for our kind of mentorship program, and we were all trading yesterday. And one thing that, we had been talking about was, when do you use, pre-market data on a chart and when not to? And this is really important. We had a trade in Expedia yesterday, and I took this thing, I alerted this thing to our members in chat room right off the bat. So 114.35. So like right off the bat, we're taking this thing short for a day trade. And if you really look at it, there was no intraday pattern. When we teach our trading bootcamp or 60-day bootcamp, we have an ORB pattern that we do right at the open. And this pattern requires 3 candles. So you can see here 3 sideways candles. So you can see here, by the 3rd candle, the stock had already dropped $10. So you would have missed out on $10 worth of the move. Now, if you had gone in on a 1-minute chart, you still would have had a little bit of trouble getting into the thing, because by the time you got your 3rd sideways candle, even on a 1-minute chart, it was kind of, at 113. So like, how do you get that fresh early entry? So there are 2 different types of charts that you can use. One is with pre-market data and one is without. So like your pre-market data, essentially what's going to happen is, if you see a stock moving around like this, right? You see something like this, see how it's like already moving around in the pre-market, you keep that data on during the trading day. Now, I don't like doing that, because then what happens is you get all this big jumble of mess, and then the market opens and you have these clean moves, but then you have this choppiness before, and it really kind of messes with like your moving averages, where the VWAP is. It can make your charts look really messy. But there's a caveat to this, a big hairy Indian butt to this. If there is a clean level and you suspect that the stock is going to have a big breakdown. So when we do our YouTube live, one thing I told you guys was, right, this Expedia is our #1 play. Why was it our #1 play over Roku? Well, the reason is, it's got a small flow, but this one is like a lot less algo city than Roku. Like if you ever trade Roku like just moves haphazardly. Expedia, because it's a little bit less well known in terms of just a cult stock. Expedia's got a higher market cap than Roku, but Roku's like a cult stock. Everybody talks about it in the trading circles. It's going to move cleaner. So going back to like, why would I, how would we get into this darn thing? How can we get into this thing quickly? And the answer to this is using the pre-market data. But I only want to use the pre-market data if I have a very, very clean level. So if you look at this, like this is the chart for Expedia with the pre-market data. You got this flush down, and then you get this really nice sideways movement over here. And when you get that like nice kind of sideways movement, this is the only time like I think it's really worth using the pre-market data, because essentially you've got a big, long, flat bottom breakdown. You can see this thing here, right? Test, 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 test. So now as this thing, and you can see your EMAs are curling over. So now as this thing breaks down, right, you could take it that first candle with the stop just right above and catch this big flush. This thing dropped down to $100. Now, sadly enough, I didn't hold it down to $100, but I did do pretty good on it. I think we covered down into like maybe at the end of it was like 110. So I left a lot of money on the table here. Damn, I was having some regrets on. You can see here 112.99, 111.57, and then I was a little bit fast, to be honest. I was a little bit fast on it. It was still an okay trade, but I left like thousands of dollars on the table. But to answer your question, this is the only time I want to use that pre-market data, at least for my personal style. I just don't think it's worth it otherwise. And you'll see this like when you're looking at like gapper stocks and things like that. Colin, like what's a gapper that's going on today? Shoot me a gapper.
Really quick, second. On the downward side, I like that. No, that's not.
Just give me the name of anyone.
Oh, stunned.
There you go. Thanks. So you see Stemp here. This is one that actually has like a clean pre-market level. So now like on something like this, like I would probably want to use pre-market data on because I just have a clean level. Now, if that gets a little bit too confusing, like what I'll do is if I want to just keep a clean chart, I'll just make like a little X, for the level on my chart, and then I'll take the pre-market data off once the trading day starts, just so I have a mental note of where the pre-market high is. Then if I start to see my ORB pattern or a pattern like that, now I know like, okay, I need to base it around that level, because a pattern in itself is no good. But a pattern, when you take a pattern and you're using level, support, resistance, supply, and demand, that's when you're going to get yourself a really good trade. So just kind of keep mind of this type of thing. It can help you and take your trades to the next level. Trading is about finding, small nuances and small little edges and building them into something. We're all looking at the same stocks. We're all looking at really the same patterns, aren't we? Like there's only a handful of patterns people run around trading. So the difference between a good trader and bad trader is around those edges. Can I take all the patterns but put them in a coherent system, right, where I'm trading around key levels and using some common sense? Do I have the tools, the technology to succeed? And then, of course, do I have the discipline, the mindset, the work ethic to put it all together and then repeat and rinse it every single day for a period of years without taking a break? So hopefully that helps, guys. Leave me any questions, any comments you have. As always, I'm trading live in front of my students every single day. You guys are more than welcome to join us in the chat room. Our chat room is pretty cool because it's not just a chat room. You get an on-demand trading boot camp with it where we train you via an on-demand series, and then you get also a chat room with it for $100-something a month. It's pretty cool. And then of course we do live webinars multiple times a week. So feel free to ask any questions you need, and have good luck trading today. Take care, guys.